Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Jack, the Muscle and Mobility Maker with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today, I'm taking you through the one thing you need to do before every exercise you perform. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine. It doesn't get better than that. So take advantage of it. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into this one. All right, like I said, today I'm taking you through the one thing you need to do before every exercise you perform. And yes, I literally mean one thing before every exercise you perform. And what could that possibly be? It is your core bracing sequence or a core bracing strategy. So regardless of the exercise you're performing, we should always have a core bracing strategy in place that actually sets up the exercise before we ever take on the load. This is part of organizing and stabilizing our spinal column well, and it's also using the torque and torsion of our arms and legs really well. And I'll get into that a little more detail as I go through it here. But a core bracing sequence should set your spine in a good position. It should start to create stability there, and it should also feed the force output that you're going to have through your legs and through your arms, depending on what type of exercise you're doing. It's going to really help amplify overall your force output and your efficiency in that movement. If you currently go into an exercise with very little setup or preparation or any thoughts in the process of how your core is being actually focused on and engaging in the exercise, or how you're using torque and torsion from your arms and legs, then your bracing sequence is letting you down. And really there's more to be had there. So today I'm going to walk you through a few basic exercises and show you how a bracing sequence can set me up for those exercises properly, and then take it into those exercises. So I'll talk you through it here in a couple common positions or common exercises so you could see how it carries over from one exercise to another, regardless of where I'm actually setting up or how I'm setting up. And we'll put that into action there for you, okay? So we're gonna take a look at a few different ones. I'll talk you through it as we go, and we'll describe it as we're in those exercises. All right, so I'm going to be using the squat for our core bracing strategy from a standing position. This is anytime our feet are the base of the movement. And that's exactly where we want to start. When your feet are the base, we want to establish a tripod foot with 3 points of contact from the first metatarsal, fifth metatarsal, and heel. Above that, we want to externally rotate the hips so the knees rotate open. This is at the same time as extending the legs so that we get a strong contraction through the legs where we're feeling the glutes engaged, the quads engaged. Above that, we're gonna get the shoulder blades retracted and depressed. And I'm gonna act like I'm bending a bar or pressing down my wall into the floor here. What this should do is parallel my ribs to my pelvis. Now, once I have that established, I'm gonna start to move. And I want that position of high stability to be what I come back to every time in between each rep. So you should see those same things replicated when I get back to the top position of each rep. 3 points of contact from the feet, external rotation from the hip, rotating the knees open, glutes engaged, quads engaged, shoulder blades down and back, pressing a wall down into the floor or breaking or bending a stick, and then paralleling the ribs to the pelvis. Those are the key concepts here. So even if I was doing a shoulder press, I would still want those same key concepts in place as I'm pressing overhead, doing a strict press in this case. Or other example might be standing there doing bicep curls or tricep extensions. I still want these major points to be where I'm focusing. What's happening at my feet? How are my legs and hips supporting my pelvis? How are my abs connecting my shoulders to my pelvis? And what's happening in my shoulders all at once? That is my core bracing strategy. And I need to be able to come back to that again in between each rep. So it's a position of high stability, and I return to the same position of high stability every time. here I'm showing how I use a band to help cue the feet for a proper tripod base from each foot. So you'll place a mini loop band around your ankles and then run it between your big toe and second toe. What you'll feel is that that band naturally cues you to connect your foot to the floor in those 3 points of contact. So it will help you establish a better base right off the bat just by adding a band like that and starting to strengthen your feet and ankles in this way. At first it might be a little uncomfortable on your toes if they're not used to being splayed like that, but this will also help you get the spread of the foot that we're looking for to increase your surface area and increase the amount of contact you have with the floor so that you can better generate torsion through your legs. Torsion is the friction of your foot and that external rotation of the hip that we talked about. Using a band like this can help you cue that external rotation as well as the extension of the legs. So here I have that band anchored at about knee height. I am opening my knees into that band constantly through the movement, and then it also cues me as I return to stand to lock in a strong, solid stance where I extend the legs and get those quadriceps engaging to press back through the floor. Now we still want to do as much as we can to stack a vertical position and not lean too much back against that band. So shoulders over hips, over knees, over ankles as much as possible with this one. And then lastly, how you can build up to the shoulders and connect that through your core to that base you've created with the feet and the hips here. So here I'm actually trying to break my dowel, shoulders down and back. My elbows are rotating down toward the floor, and I'm putting as much tension into it as I can for about 5 to 10 seconds, really feeling that engagement and using this to help cue that same feeling. Then I remove the dowel and recreate it without. Now you can also do this with a wall or a bar on a rack. So if you have something that's about chest height or just below that, you can press it down into the floor with the same setup. Shoulders down and back, drive it down in the ground, engage those glutes, get the bottom set up well, and you'll feel a similar connection. Now, what about when your hands are the base? So very similarly, we want to establish our base first and build it from there. So first I plant my hands below my shoulders. I'm going to rotate my elbows in toward my ribs, shoulder blades down and back, and I'm going to brace my abs to connect my core, bridge the shoulders to the pelvis. Immediately when I step back here in a push-up, I'm going to extend the hip, and I want to get a bit of an internally rotated position because my hips are extended here. So I'm favoring my small toes of my feet. It's a little different because I don't have the whole foot connecting with the floor, and that's okay. So we can internally rotate the hips slightly, favoring the small toes of the feet, and keep that strong lock through the glutes and quads to maintain a nice, firm, stable base through the arms and connect that through the rest of the movement. So if you look, ears in line with shoulders, with hips, knees and ankles, all one solid piece. And then I'm moving around my hips and my shoulders and elbows, I should say, not my hips on this one. That was the squat before. So this is how we want to build it when your hands are the base. Here's a simple banded setup you can use to help cue the proper shoulder and elbow positioning for this push-up. Now what I do is place that band in a loop, so it's a circle around both my arms, and that way when I lower in, the band will actually assist me out of the bottom of the push-up. So you may not need that assist, but it can help cue the right position of the elbows because we don't want the elbows to be flaring wide, and the band will help keep them in that way. All right, and there you have it. The one thing you need to do before every exercise you perform so that you're doing it with the most force output and in the safest manner overall. If you like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that big thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with your workout partner friend so that they can maximize their efforts in the gym as well and really protect themselves as they're executing those movements. If you're somebody who struggles with a current training ache or injury that's hindering you from really performing at the intensity that you want to, and overall impacting your exercise life and activity, then what I want you to do right now, if you want my direct help in resolving that problem is drop down below in the description, fill out a coaching application, and schedule a mobility blueprint call. This is our opportunity to jump on a Zoom call together so that I can first of all take you through an assessment and gather the information I need to tailor your program specific to your needs. And then I'll also lay out for you in full detail what that program will look like on that call and answer any questions that you have at that time. So if you're ready to resolve those problems and you're ready to work with me to do that, drop down below, fill out that coaching application, get that call scheduled, and we'll start moving you in the right direction. Last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine. And it does not get better than that. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. We'll see you next week.